when you go to the world of job outside, people give you good jobs. I can give an example of when 2 weeks ago I was traveling to Turkey, and at the airport I was met by 7 former students. They escorted me up to the plane. There is no university which has such a big number of students working at the airport. And you know, at the airport, people who work there are trustworthy because they are the border of Kenya and other countries. The airport is like another country. So I would like to thank you for that, to thank the former students for that. We have great students. We have taught great men. The regional commissioner of Mombasa, of the Coast region, Lungata and John, was our student, and many other great people. Livingstone Makori, who was an enterprise, was also our student. So those are the things that make us proud. I would like to mention that it is important to attend such a meeting where you are being taught how to lead your lives after you have completed your studies, because within a very short period, you will be accomplished scholars. And once you are accomplished, you will be expected to look for jobs with a lot of confidence. Many students or many people with degrees these days send their parents, their guardians to look for their jobs. Many of them come to me and I ask them, who knows about that specialty more than the owner? The owner is hiding somewhere, but the person who is looking for the job is another person. I would urge you never to do that. Be confident, be assertive, and you'll get the job. When you go out there, be exceptional characters. When you are going for an interview, if you go if you use slippers going there, you use very funny clothing, you will automatically lose. You have to be neat, wear a tie, wear a suit, and then appear. That is why you will get a job. But if you go just like any other person who is not there, who is not going for an interview which is supposed to be a big ceremony, you will lose. Today I was told by the government spokesperson that you dress the way you want to be undressed, and it is very important. I am very happy with my students because wherever they go, they are productive. I expect you to be very productive when you come out of this place, because we have taught you how to live with people. From the time when you came here, we taught you how to interact with the people, because I always say that a university is not a celebrated high school. A university is supposed to bring impact to the community. We use our corporate social responsibility money to better the lives of the people who are around us. Recently, we put up a bridge somewhere, a very good bridge along River Nithi with our corporate social responsibility funds. We also helped the people around with around 3.5 kilometers on the other side, a place called Mujwa, because it is our responsibility to see that we have an impact in the community. Our students have already participated in tree planting. I think this university should get a Nobel Prize, because for the last 2 years, we have planted 2.2 million tree seedlings. Isn't it a great thing? I believe the government will consider us for that. Our students have also participated in cleaning towns around, in doing everything to make sure that the community lives well. That means we live well with the community, even after going outside the university and going to the other bigger community, you will do that. Now that the graduation is around the corner, I would like to urge those who have not completed certain subjects, those who failed in certain subjects, or those who who are not there when the exams were done because of the COVID-19 effect, please try to do it so that on 17th of December, when we will be having our graduation, you will be there. I would also like to urge you to be very careful with the COVID-19. Our university is lucky. We don't have a lot of cases of COVID-19. I have not heard of it for the last 2 weeks. And I would like you to observe the protocols that has been placed by the Ministry of Health so that you complete your studies and then go in a healthy manner and then serve our nation. Continue doing the good things because a human being buys freedom by doing good things to the people. Wherever you go, do the right thing. Do the good things, be honest, and you will succeed. I know that if you do the right thing, you will be honored and you will get anything that you want from anybody. But if you change your character and start doing abnormal things, things will be very bad. We expect all our students to do well because they have been taught properly. They are people of integrity, and we know they will serve this nation in a great way. May I take this opportunity to welcome our chief guest, retired Colonel Cyrus Oguna, the government spokesperson. Welcome, our visitor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Naomba nitoe barakoa. Bwana VC, you mentioned former students, Bwana John Elungata, Bwana Livingstone, but you forgot about me. You forgot about me because I might not have been a student here physically, but I've always admired this institution whenever I'm passing by here, because I think it's a really prestigious institution, and I've always promised myself that one day I'll become a student here. That one day is today. Because I trust that I'm going to learn quite a bit from you participants. But there's something else I want to say before it escapes my mind. The VC did mention about what you need to do when going for interviews, and also recall that Professor Souza did mention about the need to be courageous and bold, but I need to say two things. One is that you are addressed the way you are dressed. You are addressed the way you are dressed. I hope that makes sense. That the way you dress is the way you will be addressed. But number two, you need to be bold, you need to be courageous, but you also need to have an attitude. Be bold, be courageous, but also have what? An attitude. Otherwise, let me start by thanking, acknowledging the VC, Professor Rafsat Njoka, Professor Souza, Professor Waiter, Bwana Livingstone, Madam Joyce Mugoi, Madam Kiamba, all the other invited guests, the students, my team from Nairobi, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Mbona kumetulia sana? Hamjambo? Hamjambo tena? Indeed, for me, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be here with you this day. It is a pleasure and a privilege because it is not always that you get an opportunity to share a platform with such very dignified students who are just about to graduate. really. It is not every single day that somebody is called or invited to come and share a platform with what I can call scholars who are just about to go out into the labor market. And therefore, to me and my team, is a privilege and an honor to have been invited for this very, very important occasion. Allow me to introduce the small team that I came with. I have Mr. George Mbogo. Please just raise up your hand. He is the Regional Youth Coordinator for Upper Eastern. Panakole Mutura is the County Youth Officer. And Bwana Elijah Rugendo is the Credit Officer, Youth Enterprise Development Fund. Allow me, therefore, to start, first of all, by informing young men and women who are here about the importance of being a youth, of being a young person, and especially in matters to do with national development. All of us in all countries of the world do understand the importance of the youth constituency, because no country can be able to develop without building its youth constituency. And therefore the youth are critical, not only for nation building, but also for economic prosperity, for social cohesion, and political stability in any jurisdiction, in any nation. The youth, you're aware, have been at the center of economic, social, and political discourse for a very, very long time. I'm sure you're all familiar with social movements in places like the US, UK, all that were created to be able to champion amelioration of black people. You're aware about people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and many others. In the UK as well. That was championed by the youth. You're all familiar with the May movement in France in 1968. You may be familiar, I'm sure, with the Arab Spring, so recently in the Maghreb. You're familiar with what happened in Sudan not so long ago, in Swaziland also not so long ago. That explained the influence of the youth. And our country recognizes the importance of the youth and is aware that the youth are the engine that must be able to drive any economic progress of any country. But that engine must be well tuned, must be well serviced for it to be able to push the wheel of development to the next level. And because of that, the country has been able to come up with many initiatives, programs, and even institutions to be able to mainstream issues to do with the youth. We have a complete state department whose role is essentially to focus on youth matters. That is the State Department of Youth Affairs under the Ministry of ICT. But there's also the Youth Council that looks on matters youth, and therefore that gives you an understanding of the place and the location, the position that the government has been able to put on matters youth, to the extent that there are many, many initiatives and programs that have been rolled out, essentially to help the youth. Those programs will be highlighted shortly, but to tell you that many nations of the world tend to look at the youth today as the drivers of instability, people who cause conflict, but our government looks at the youth as co-creators of peace and stability. And therefore, even if you go to most counties, there are various groups that have been formed to be able to help in terms of creating peace, organizing for peace, even participating on matters to do with counterterrorism or anti-terrorism in all the counties. That is because the youth have become the center of national development and also national security. So wherever you are, feel proud that you are participating on matters to do with national security and being able, therefore, to push this country forward, because development and security have got some kind of symbiotic relationship. You cannot be able to develop as a country where there is no peace. but you can never have peace where there is no development. And that development essentially must be driven by the youth. And there you can see how you fit into the whole question of national development. I will want to call upon Mr. Mbogo, who is the officer in charge of the various youth programs, to come and just highlight a few of the various programs that you can be able to exploit once you're out of this institution, that you'll be able to know where to can find them and how every program can be of benefit to you. Once it's done, I'll come back and then be able to wrap up. Otherwise, for now, let me just call Mr. Mbogo to come and say a few things. Mr. Mbogo, please.
Thank you, sir. Our chief guest, retired Colonel Oguna, government spokesperson, the vice chancellor of this great university, Chuka University, Professor Elastus Joka, the team from the university, the DVCs, the other employees of the institution, invited guests for this particular forum, whom I know they have a lot to tell us as we move on. The students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Habari ya vijana. Vijana mpo? Mpo? That's good. So as you've heard, my name is George Bogo, the Youth Regional Coordinator, Upper Eastern. And when we talk of Upper Eastern, we talk of Embu, that's where my office is, Embu. Then where we are, Tharaka Nithi, we go to Meru, Isiolo, and then Marsabit. Now, before I move on, there are some 3 terms I want you to write. Whereas you have a pen and a notebook. Number 1, supermarket. Have you written that? Supermarket. If you want to can call stroke mall. Call it supermarket. Number 2, I want you to write opportunities. Medical opportunities. Opportunities. Have you written that? Then number 3, I want you to write money in the pocket. Money in the pocket. So let me start by saying that as the government of Kenya, it is very much aware that youths are a critical defined of this particular nation. And without empowering them appropriately, then as a country, we will suffer. So I told you, number 1, to write supermarket. Why did I tell you to write that? Because for me, when you leave school, I'm seeing where you will go to, or when you are through with your college life, is you will be in a supermarket. And more so, you will meet there as very many youths. Some will be a bit confused. Some will have a clear direction of where they are going. Others will always be asking others, sasa mimi nitafanya nini? And others will be misguided, others will be guided appropriately. So we all know what a supermarket is. That big shop where you enter and you find very many people moving up and down. Some buying items, filling in buckets, and let alone passing through the cashier, they pay and they leave. Others just moving up and down within the supermarket, probably listening to nice music. Probably handling. But they have realized there is an open field here where you can get in, start enjoying what you want there, listening to music, but after some time now you leave and you go. Others will very fast go in that supermarket, buy something and quit. So why am I equating your life out there with a supermarket? Is because when you go to that particular supermarket, it is you to determine what you want. Now, as a state department for youth, we don't work for the youth. We work with the youth. That's why, like the recent launched Kenya National Youth Development Policy 2019. I remember our spokesman also attended some functions in Tharaka Nithi, went to Tharaka. It specifies so many stakeholders, including the universities where we are, including the faith-based organizations, including the various parastatals, including all the ministries, including the private sector, including the youth, him or herself. Because you are part of your destination, you are part of it. Now, as a state department for youth, there are very many programs and activities. Very many programs and activities where, once you are out there, you may decide where you fit. You may fit in one or two or three or even more than those three programs, or if you want opportunities which are available there. So when the government identifies a program or a project for the youth, and youth is 18 to 35, very soon you quit that particular stage. So it is upon you to utilize that opportunity which is provided. Now, because those programs, activities are so many, I want to highlight some key ones. Noting that my second thing I told you to write was what? Uliandika nini? Opportunities. Yes, then the third one? Money in the pocket or cash in the pocket. Because I believe, whether you like it or not, after you quit school or as you move on with your life, you will need money. So you will need money. Now, you get money from where? You may either be employed, you may employ yourself, you may be having a talent, like some of the young people you have seen exhibiting their talent here, and you utilize them to make money. You may have a business and you make money. That's why the government is providing the opportunities I'm going to mention briefly, so that you identify where you can fit and benefit yourself, your family, and generally the whole county. I want to mention Big Four agenda first. Umesikia hiyo? In front of the Big Four agenda. So in the Big Four agenda, umesikia mambo ya manufacturing. Umesikia hiyo? So you ask yourself, what are these opportunities which are being availed in the manufacturing sector? Are you able to add value to mangoes, which we are always complaining that they are getting spoiled very fast, and we end up losing a lot? So what can you do within the manufacturing? Because you can get money from some of the opportunities I'm going to highlight it to you, to do what you want, and you make money in the pocket. Now, you must have heard of the issues of UHC, Universal Health Care. Let's get you. As another Big Four agenda. So what that one also tells us is most of us could be having national hospital insurance facilities, but from our parents. Others probably don't have. But very soon, when you move out, as time goes, you'll be required, you are the one to get your own national hospital insurance further. At the same time, you have to take care of your body, so that you work and work the way you should work, because you'll be strong. Why should you indulge yourself, for example, into taking or abusing drugs? Then within no time, you start having liver problems. And then people start donating money or coming in to help you raise money so that you can go for treatment, either to India or any other place. So it is also upon you to ensure that you maintain body the way it should be. So talking of the universal health care. What is the other Big Four agenda? Nasikia mambo ya nyumba. Nasikia mambo ya housing. The issues to do with housing has also provided so many opportunities. Opportunities, for example, in the real estate. Probably some of us here, as time goes, you'll be in the real estate industry, where probably you'll be buying land, selling, you'll be advising those who want to put up their structures or their buildings, and you make money, or probably even putting up and you sell. Again, that provides opportunities for various skills. Skills in ICT, skills in masonry, skills in agribusiness, skills in whatever you are seeing in a structure like the ones we have in a university. So what is on before agenda number 4? The fourth item? Nani anajua hiyo? Food security. Sio? Number 4 is chakula. Everybody will have to eat so as to be as strong as he is. So we are saying there is opportunity in farming. I know I've been talking to youths, and many youths, when you tell them about agriculture, most of them will say, but you see, our peasant parents have always been farming, and I think they are not doing well. But now you need to employ the modern styles of farming so that you'll not be getting so tired and probably you're not getting a lot. Or you think of how you bring in the technology so that you assist in ensuring that we have food. But all in all, I believe there is a lot of money in farming or generally in agriculture. Now, I want to move on to the many initiatives, opportunities which we find in our State Department for Youth. And I'll start by mentioning the affirmative action funds. So you can andika hiyo. Affirmative action funds. Because the government has set aside so much money for women, so much money for young people, and so much money for the less disadvantaged people like the PWDs or the vulnerables. So those are the affirmative funds. One, I want to be very brief with them, because all of them, now kwa sababu tumesoma na kunaendelea kusoma, I will refer you to the websites so that you go and you get the details, because we may not have time to go into details to all of them. So number 1 is the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, YEDF. Youth Enterprise Development Fund. I think it's the oldest of the affirmative action funds I'm going to mention, and it has been doing well. Now, let me say the funds we are talking about here are not only for Upper Eastern. I know Kenya is represented here. Ama? So watu wa Coast wako? Watu Nyanza wako? Watu wa Eastern wako, sidio? Wa Upper Eastern pia wako? Yes, so when you go to the offices of the youth, in all those sub-counties and the county headquarters, you meet them talking of the affirmative action funds. You meet them talking about the many activities, opportunities I'm talking about. So what I'm talking about is not only in Tharaka Nithi County, it's in the 47 counties. So I talked of the Youth Enterprise Development Fund. Today we are even privileged because the person in charge of Youth Enterprise Development money in Tharaka Nithi County is with us, and he has been introduced by our chief guest. So essentially, if you want money to start a business, or if you have a business and you want to expand, you can visit their offices and explain to them clearly what you have planned to do or what you are doing. There will be a form you will fill, you will go through it. If you qualify, you can be given the money. So it is important for us to note that that money is either to start, or you can also get the Youth Enterprise Development Fund if you are an individual or if you are a registered group or a registered company or a registered cooperative society in Kenya. So for those who want money to start or expand the business, Eco Youth Enterprise Development Fund. I think currently they are starting with 100,000 shillings, but you move on. Of course, you have to pay, it's not free money. But the interest rate is the lowest you can get in the market. As low as 5%. Tuko pamoja? But are you getting me? You see, it is not me to come here and give you the money. Or the officer to come with the money in the bag and ask nani anataka pesa hapa, pitia hapa nikupea 100,000. Hapana. You must also have some initiative. Tunakubaliana hivyo? Tunakubaliana hivyo? Okay, let's move on to the other one. Number 2, Uwezo Fund. Uwezo Fund. So youth enterprises are sold as 2007. Now we are Uwezo Fund number 2. Those who may have known how Uwezo Fund started, it started in 2013, and it was started by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, when at one point he promised that if there will be no repeat in elections, the government will give 6 billion to youth, women, and PWDs so that they get money to start and expand their businesses. And because Kenyans did that, then the 6 billion was released in 2013. Every year, the parliament appropriates some money to add to the kit. Again, the format is largely the same because it is for those people who have youth, women, and PWDs who have businesses, or those who want to expand businesses. The only slight difference here between youth fund and the Uwezo is in Uwezo, money is only given to groups. To groups. And it is interest free. So why should you not attempt to get some money in the issue of the Uwezo Fund? The Uwezo Fund currently is managed by our youth officers, and the Youth Enterprise Development Fund I talked of earlier, that one, it's a parastatal on its own. So we also have an officer here who is in charge of Chuka University constituency, who is also the director of Youth Arakanivi, with us here on the issue of Uwezo Fund. So we should not say there is no money for us to start the business. Number three, let me mention something with Women Enterprise Development Fund. WEF, number 3. Women Enterprise Development Fund. Now, this one is generally for women, not necessarily 35 years. As long as you, but remember, a youth who is 18, 35 also qualifies if the person is already at any woman, in the definition. So you also qualify for the money from Women Enterprise Development Fund. I know in many gatherings have been going, men have been asking, sasa hii Women Development Fund, bona hakuna men hapo? Set discriminatory. The answer is no. You can, as a man, you can also get that money. As long as you are part of the group of women. But the women there, in that particular group, 70% must be women, and the leadership must be women. So what we are saying is, if you have a group of 10 men and women, the maximum viewing can be around in that group, so that you benefit from Women Fund. And again, 0 man should be in the management, not chairman. Those now the chair already. Ndio, secretary treasurer. Tumekubaliana hivyo. So men are also there. Remember, ladies sometimes are better managers, but even men are also good managers. So generally what we are saying here is the government has offered this money because historically women have not probably been as empowered as men in our country. But of course, they later on brought that clause of even men can be part of this group, because we also have men who really don't have much assets, security, which they can use to get money from various other financial institutions. Again, this Women Fund is as cheap as Youth Enterprise Development Fund. Because remember, we are calling them affirmative action funds. Because the government is not there to make profit from this, But in all the cases when you borrow, make sure you repay so that those who come for money tomorrow will still find the kitty with some money. Let me also mention the latest affirmative action fund from the government. Probably you have heard of GAF, NGAAF, National Government Affirmative Action Fund. That kitty is there, not directly managed by the State Department for Youth, but they give youth money, they give women, disadvantaged groups, PWDs, they also give them money. But if you also have an idea, as I find some of you saying that you have innovations or you have started something which can help the community, write a proposal, go to their offices, they are the headquarters of the constituencies, because the patron is the women representative, and you stand a chance of getting something from that money. That is the aspect of the GAF. GAF, because at times I've heard many people not mentioning the GAF, let me also say they also give bursaries, scholarships, of course to the needy, once they evaluate and they realize you are needy, table banking, activities, civic education, some activities to prevent substance abuse. We also nurture talents, arts, music, sports, value addition initiatives like the Mancos we are talking about, and the others. So those are the ones I wanted to mention. But I also wanted to mention another government initiative to make sure that youths have opportunities in government, parastatals, and other institutions, tenders, and contracts. I don't know whether you have heard of it, but we call it AGPO. AGPO. By a show of hands. Let me see somebody who has heard of AGPO. Equation is clear. Niona two. Okay, at least this side I have two. Kuleju. Okay, there is another one. Another one. You see, yesterday I was surprised when I asked a young person the word he comes from, and it's like he was wondering what are words. What are these words? Okay, so what we are saying is, as now you move on, you need to also read more on this article. It's also in the website. And generally, it is where you get a certificate through the treasury, so that when there are tenders, which are usually, or procurement, which are usually preserved by government ministries, parastatals, and various other private institutions, you can apply and you can be considered. I know sometimes some people have been saying that it's the same people who have money, who have registered, and they are calling them youth groups. But I know some good number who benefit from this. So usipu zetu useme aikuji. Some youths have really benefited a lot from this particular initiative of the AGPO. For details, again, I'm referring you to the website so that you read more. Let me mention something always our cabinet secretary talks about. That is Joe Moshero talks about. Anjira Digital. Sasa tuko kwa ICT. Anjira Digital. So by show of hand, nani asikia mambo ya Anjira Digital? Wacha tu niona. Anjira, okay, at least hapo wako wengi. Anjira, okay. Hiyo sawa sawa. Hiyo ni ya vijana. So we are saying, the government is saying, you can make a lot of money even when you are seated on your comfort seat. And more so, young people, because they are the ones who are very good at these ICT issues. We are having so many young people, but the market is still not funded. It's still open. Because you are in work for somebody who is in Canada and you are in Chuka, or you are in Kisumu, or any other part of the world, and the person will be sending you money depending on the way you are working. And many people are making money through this. So again, I will refer you for more information to log in, what I may call anjiradigital.go.ke. When you go there, you find so much. I know sometimes they also partner with some other mobile phone manufacturers or sellers, and sometimes I even have an activity we have been calling digital track, and they have been sensitizing the youth on the importance of using technology in various aspects. So now that soon we'll be out there, we are seeing the opportunities which are there. When you get to know them, or now that we also informing you about some of them, utilize them. Take the initiative. Usiseme tu hakuna kazi. Kazi siko. But of course competition is there, so you must visit so that you benefit. That was the Nigeria. Let me also mention of an initiative which is in government, parastatus. You must have heard of it. Internship program. Have you heard of that? Professor Kopia, who is in charge of public service, the CS, always talks about this. And every year, the various ministries, the various parastatus advertise for this. So after we leave college and we have graduated, here, it's important for you to have your eyes open so that you also try this. They help you to get experience, because youth have always been saying they are not getting jobs, because when they go for interviews, we asked, for how many years have you worked? Well, they are told we need somebody who has worked for 4 years. And you have finished now your degree from Chuka University. 2 months ago, 1 month ago, somebody asking you for 4 years or 2 years or 1 year experience. So again, you get your experience in those internships, which are always a field to us. Let me also mention of something, another project of the government. Probably some have heard of it, and I will call it, they call it KYEOP, KEOP, Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project. Have you ever heard of that? Umesikia hiyo? Anguna ambao anasema yes, wamesikia. Now, I know they are only very active in 17 counties, because it's a World Bank project implemented by the Ministry of Labor, the Youth, and others. World Bank is also there. And they have been implementing it more so for 17 counties. The one which is very near is Kitui and Machakos. If you go to Central, there is Kiambu. If you go to a place like Nyanza, you will find Kisumu. If you go to Western, Bungoma, it is 17 in number. But there are some programs within KEOP which are implemented across Kenya. For example, recently, there was Berenabis. So how many applied for that competition? Not getting, but ni wangapi walijaribu? Berenabis competition. Ama hamkuisikia? Berenabis. Hakuna hata moja. Some guys have made more than $1 million. Na hiyo ni grant. Pesa uende tu fanyie biashara. So again, now that we are moving outside, when we go out, when these facilities, opportunities are available to us, then it's important for us to utilize them. And we are very active in social media, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, etc. But at times we tend to go to where entertainment is and we forget others. So now we have no option. We have no option. Actually, in a boardroom, our spokesperson was saying that we should only be utilizing about 20% of that time you're on your phone, on your computer, on that leisure entertainment, but the rest should be now on other items, activities which will really assist you. So I've talked of Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project. I've seen, for example, there was a Chola, but in Tharaka-Nithi, there are 4 people qualified. Let me also mention that, so that we may not feel as if it's not for the Kenya. We have 4 plus 2, total 6 who qualified for their businesses to be sponsored by KEOP through what we are referring to as Bele Nambis or Bele Nambis. So again, within KEOP, let me also mention that. So within KEOP, we also have another program by the name Future Mbola. Future Mbola. Future. And again, this one is more so to help the organizations develop which are handling youth issues or owned by youth, and they are outstanding. So that's the key one there, outstanding. So when you're out there, your organization, your institution is dealing with youths or led by youths, and it is outstanding, you can apply for assistance. Understand there is not less than 40 million for that. So again, if you go to www.futurembola.go.ke, you get more information on that particular aspect. Now, there are so many other programs you find even in your churches, even in your mosques, that is faith-based organizations and institutions. There are so many also others which you find in private sector. There are so many others you also find in NGOs. So youth cuts are close. So where you see you are fitting and it's a legal business, legal organization, then why not go there so that you make money? I know one of the challenges sometimes I get from youth, or I hear from youth, is somebody has finished university. God helped you to get a job in a certain institution or organization. But as you work there, you realize you are earning 20,000 per month initially. Then you realize your supervisor, who is earning 100,000 shillings, he doesn't have a degree. Many become so discouraged. Many become so obsessed with their 20,000 versus 100,000, such that they even quit. But as time goes, they become miserable. They forget, you start small, and then you care as small, you will grow. But when you start high, you are likely to move down. So ndasima uwe na hiyo moyo ya persistence ili ufanye kazi mpaka wale watu wengine waone vile huyu amefanya, he or she deserves promotion. Or that somebody in another organization, institution also identify you so that you go and you qualify. I will leave at that, but challenge you to have your eyes, your ears open to the many opportunities which are open for youths, but nobody will bring them at your doorstep. Tuko pamoja? Asanteni sana.